A wealthy woman sat quietly on a park bench, her eyes fixed on her young daughter in the wheelchair. The little girl had never spoken a single word in her life. Doctors said it was impossible that she would remain silent forever. The mother's heart broke a little more each day, as other children played freely, laughing and shouting, while her daughter sat in silence. But on this very afternoon, something unexpected happened. A man, someone society often overlooked, walked into the park. Within moments, he did what millions of dollars, the best doctors, and years of therapy had failed to achieve. For the very first time, the little girl opened her mouth and spoke. The billionaire woman had everything the world could offer: wealth, status, power, and influence. Yet her heart carried a wound that no fortune could heal. Her only daughter, a fragile little girl with bright eyes but a silent mouth, had been mute since birth. No therapy, no specialist, no modern technology could change her condition. Despite the doctor's promises and endless treatments in the most expensive hospitals, her voice never came. Every weekend, the woman would take her daughter to the park, hoping at least the laughter of other children might bring her some comfort. But it was always the same: children running, shouting, playing together, while her daughter sat in her wheelchair, watching silently. Parents would whisper behind her back, some with pity, others with cruel curiosity. A few even suggested she should accept reality and stop chasing impossible hopes. But deep in her heart, the woman never gave up. She longed for the day she could hear even a single word from her child's lips. One mama would mean more than all the wealth she owned. That day in the park, as the autumn leaves fell around them, the mother sighed and adjusted the blanket on her daughter's lap. She had no idea her life was about to change. For while the world looked past the man approaching from the far side of the park, fate was quietly preparing to give her a miracle she had stopped daring to dream of. As the mother sat on the bench, gently brushing her daughter's hair, she noticed a man slowly crossing the park. His clothes were plain, his shoes a little worn, and his skin dark like the earth after rain. Some parents frowned as he passed, pulling their children a little closer, whispering with the kind of prejudice that had become too common. To them, he was just another stranger, someone to avoid, someone not belonging in their world of comfort and privilege. But the man didn't seem to notice. His gaze wasn't on the parents or the children laughing in the distance. His eyes fell only on the little girl in the wheelchair. He paused for a moment, studying her expression, the quiet sadness in her eyes that spoke louder than words ever could. Then slowly, he walked toward her. The mother's first instinct was caution. She straightened her back, clutching her daughter's hand. For years, she had faced people's judgment, some out of pity, others out of ignorance. She was used to stares, but this man's steps were different. They carried neither pity nor judgment. Instead, they held a kind of gentleness she hadn't seen in a long time. The closer he came, the more uncomfortable others grew. A few parents whispered sharply, one even muttering, "Why is he bothering them?" But the man remained calm. He knelt beside the little girl, lowering himself so his eyes were level with hers. For the first time that day, the girl's expression changed. She blinked curiously, tilting her head, as if recognizing something in him that others could never see. The man reached into his pocket, pulling out a small wooden whistle, worn smooth by years of use. He placed it softly to his lips and blew. A gentle, playful tune filled the air, so simple, yet so pure, it seemed to cut through the noise of the park. The girl's eyes widened. Her fingers twitched on the blanket, her chest rose sharply, as though something deep within her had been stirred awake. The mother gasped. Never before had she seen her daughter react this way, not to doctors, not to expensive therapists, not even to the voices of loved ones. The tune was unlocking something within her. Around them, silence spread. Parents who had once scoffed now stopped and stared. Children paused mid-game, their laughter fading as they watched the little girl's lips part ever so slightly, struggling against years of silence. It was as if the music carried not just notes, but a hidden key that could open what the world had declared unopenable. And in that fragile moment, the mother realized, this stranger, this black man, the others had judged so quickly, might be the one to give her the miracle she had prayed for all her life. The park had gone utterly silent. Even the wind seemed to pause, carrying only the faint tune of the whistle. The little girl's chest rose and fell, her tiny lips trembling as if fighting against an invisible wall built over years of silence. Her mother leaned closer, tears already gathering in her eyes. She had seen therapists, speech experts, even world-renowned specialists, but never had her daughter shown this kind of spark. And now, here in a simple park, a stranger had done what millions of dollars couldn't. The man lowered the whistle, meeting the girl's eyes. His gaze was patient, steady, and full of belief. Not pity, belief. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the girl lifted her hand, reaching out. Her small fingers brushed against his arm, and then her lips parted again. A single fragile sound escaped, broken, breathy, but undeniable. May, the mother froze. Her heart felt as though it had stopped. She stared at her daughter, hardly daring to believe what she had just heard. The girl tried again, the sound stronger this time, as though the first attempt had unlocked a door inside her. Mama. The word rang through the air, shattering the silence. Gasps erupted around the park. Some parents covered their mouths, their judgment replaced with awe. A few children clapped instinctively, not even understanding the depth of the miracle they had just witnessed. The mother fell to her knees, clutching her daughter tightly, sobbing into her hair. Years of pain, hopelessness, and silent prayers poured out of her in that moment. Her little girl had spoken for the very first time. And as she looked through her tears, she saw the man standing there quietly, almost humbly, as though he had simply been a vessel for something greater. He wasn't expecting thanks, wasn't waiting for recognition. He simply smiled gently, nodding at the little girl, as if to say, "The voice was always inside you. I just helped you find it." The mother sat on the grass, holding her daughter so tightly, as though afraid she might lose that precious sound if she ever let go. The girl leaned into her, giggling softly, as though something inside her had finally been unlocked. That single word, "Mama," had shattered years of silence, and in its place, joy came rushing in like a flood. Around them, people in the park slowly began to clap. Parents who had once glanced disapprovingly at the black man now looked at him with a mix of disbelief and admiration. Children pointed curiously, whispering to each other about what they had just seen. What had begun as a moment of quiet prejudice had turned into a moment of shared wonder. The mother's mind raced. She thought of the countless doctors, the specialists, the therapy sessions, the sleepless nights. None of them had worked. None of them had reached her daughter. But this man, someone society often dismissed, someone people whispered about, and judged simply because of his skin color, had done the impossible. She rose to her feet, still cradling her daughter, and walked toward him. For the first time she truly saw him. Not as a stranger in the park, not as someone different, but as a human being, who had given her something beyond price. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered a thank you that came from the depths of her soul. The man simply placed a hand over his heart, bowing his head slightly, before stepping back. His work here was done. He wasn't seeking applause or recognition. He carried himself with quiet dignity, as though he had long ago accepted that the world might never value him as it should. And yet, in this moment, he had given more than any fortune or status could ever buy. As the mother held her daughter close, she realized something profound. The miracle wasn't just that her child had spoken. The true miracle was that someone society had overlooked had seen her daughter's worth when no one else could. He had listened when others dismissed. He had believed when others doubted. And isn't that what every child, every human being, needs? To be seen, to be heard, to be believed in. The park slowly returned to its rhythm, but the lives of those who witnessed that moment would never be the same. The story of the mute little girl who spoke her first word would spread, whispered from one parent to another, a reminder that sometimes the greatest gifts come from the most unexpected places. And as the sun dipped lower in the sky, the mother asked herself, and by extension, every soul watching this story now, how many miracles have we missed, simply because we judged the person carrying them?